Welcome to the 7 Reasons to Back It. Our show's concept is that each creator is invited on to answer 7 questions about their crowdfunding campaigns. Over the 7 rounds of questions, creators are eliminated by a guest judge, and only the best answers move the creator onward. The creators have 60 seconds to answer these questions. The first 5 questions are given by the host, and then the last 2 are picked by the guest judge. Guest judges have Hell's Kitchen rules, meaning the judge picks when people are eliminated, and even if they're not, one round can have 0 eliminations or up to 5. Judges will be giving real-time feedback at the end of each round to help the creators learn. Judges can and may ask follow-up questions at their discretion at the end of each round. The winner goes on to get 15 minutes of fame, or can choose to get the first 15 minutes of the next upcoming show. And in that case, the runner-up gets the spotlight. This is hosted by the COMiX devil and proud comic book advocate, Mr. AnderSiN, which you can find the devil in his tales at MrAnderSiN.com. This program is brought to you by comicbookadvocates.com and the Advocating Network. All right, let's introduce our guest judge for this week and the contestants who want to prove their crowdfunding is worth the spotlight. All right, everybody. Well, I won last week. We're starting a little early today, so I get the first 15 minutes of fame, as it were. So we'll zoom in on me, and I'll bring up. I'm just going to pretty much let a video do the talking for me, and then we're going to introduce our first guest, and we'll explain how we're going to handle the rest of today. I am calling up the cool stuff, as it were, right now for my video. Just give me 1 second, you cool kids, and we'll get to it. Here we go. So this is my video. If I can't win you over with this video, I don't deserve you. So here we go. An all-ages tale that teaches morals with farts and shows the power of imagination that will entertain everyone in your family, including the parents reading the book. Thank you for hitting play and allowing us to introduce you to Cat Dad and Supermom, the award-winning Farts with Morals storytelling awesome adventure that people seem to love. And we could keep going that way. We could use words that could try to get you to be excited and convinced to buy it, but I'd rather just be honest with you. I'd rather be humble with you and tell you why I created the story. You see that little boy over my shoulder, right over there, and the other side, the Supermom, and the big elephant that farts? All of that is based on my boy. He's a special needs 5-year-old who I love with all my heart. And he has made me a better man and has taught me what unconditional love is. So if this story is about him, the standard had to be higher. That's why I got one of the best artists in the world in Raheel Mohsin. I got Chuck Pineau, who has done such great work as an editor and as a writer himself, to be part of this. Both of them became co-creators because of how much passion went into this. It was about passion for creating a top-notch story that was meant to entertain your entire family, and I think we did that. The rest, they're all keywords. They're all ways to convince you to do it. Truthfully, this is a story that matters to me, and it had to be one of the best stories that I wanted to share with you. It advocates for people who get bullied, and it advocates for the right things to do when you see someone get bullied. It advocates for being a better human being, but it also represents my son. And because of that standard, because of the fact that my son is in this book, it had to be one of the best things I could create, probably in my entire career. Anytime my son is attached to something, it is that high of a standard for me. So if you're looking for a reason to back this Kickstarter, it's because, well, because I love my son, and I wouldn't put anything out with his name on it that wasn't amazing. Thank you for watching, sharing, and backing Cat Dad and Supermom, and Ella Fart never forgets. So, I'm going to be honest with you guys in the viewing audience. We're having problems today. we're dealing with Murphy's Law. Chuck is stuck on an interview. He didn't see that we were starting early. We were starting early to accommodate someone on the panel today, and we're happy to do so. But everything else has gone wrong. Chuck's stuck in the middle of an interview. 2 other people had a problem. 2 people are just missing. And one person who we tried to add on later just had something go wrong with a delivery. So, it's just one of those things that no matter how hard you try to plan these things, just some days things aren't going to go your way. And that's okay. That's fine. Like, we're not angry. We're not gonna get down on ourselves. But the truth is that we're gonna focus. As you hear Jax in the background. So here we Jax. Relax. Jax is all hyped up today. So we're just gonna go on with the show, and we're gonna ask the 7 questions of our friend Michael, who showed up today. And by default, he's gonna win. So I mean. This is just how it is sometimes. You're not going to
be only one.
Yeah. We hope that Chuck can join us soon. I know he's trying to make his way in. He just has an interview going late, so hopefully he can join us. So yeah, I mean, I get it. Also, we understand here, and everyone has to understand. I just think the Saturday online experience is going to take a dive. Before this pandemic happened, a lot of things weren't happening on Saturday, and that's because viewer rates were horrible. It's Memorial Day weekend. I wanted to actually cancel this show, but had committed to running it with all these people who backed out at the last minute. But Michael's here, so I'm doing something right. If Michael hadn't have been here, you would have seen like a quick 2-minute video of like, listen, people, things have gone really wrong, but they're not so wrong right now because I got my good friend in here with me. Jax, relax, buddy. You want to come on the show and host it? You can do a better job than I'm doing right now.
Our viewer rating will skyrocket.
I know. Like, finally, someone's in control over there at Comic Book Advocates, This Rob guy couldn't even get people to show up onto his program. So it is what it is, guys. So, usually Chuck would be here to be the guest. We're going to try to reassign this to a new day. I have an idea. I got to run it by Chuck first, but I think it's a good idea. And I think it'll be a good way to get people involved in this. And I think that this will be the last time you'll see me on Saturday programming. I think I'm going back to only doing specials on Saturdays and very rare ones. Hopefully you guys will see me live from a con in just a few weeks, so I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm gearing up, getting ready, getting back into shape to be on the road. But for now, let's stop talking about me. Let's talk about the man of the hour, the only contestant this week. We got the Elysian Fields. I've said it right?
Yes, Elysian Fields.
Elysian Fields. I'm so proud of myself. We're the Elysian Fields creator. So here are the questions that you would have had to compete with other people to answer correctly. The first one is, okay, so give us that elevator pitch, creator.
All right, elevator pitch coming at you right now. Fate shackled Achilles in life. In death, he was finally free until a mysterious calling took him from his peace, and he is forced to fight as a champion for Hades in a tournament that crowns the ruler of the underworld every 1,000 years. So, yeah, there you go. Elevator pitched.
I dig it. All right, so next question. We're just going to keep it on you because then I don't need to see the embarrassment of me, like, not having anyone on my
Come on, Rob. It's okay.
Then, okay, tell us about your main character. So who's your main character?
The main character of the book is Achilles. Achilles is probably a pretty well-known figure for most people in that he is the protagonist of the book, the Iliad, and is a really big name in Greek mythology and is the probably most known figure of the Trojan War outside of Odysseus. And Achilles, this is going to be a very different version than what most people are used to consuming in depictions in the media. I wanted to be as authentic to the story as I possibly could be, and I wanted this version of Achilles to be also something that is authentic to the myth, but something that you haven't that hasn't been focused on as well. So I am writing this version of the character from kind of a perspective of how he appears in the Odyssey, where he's kind of this, like, he's kind of in this melancholic state where he kind of regretted his life. And so he's fighting in this championship, in this tournament reluctantly, because Hades is giving him a chance to get his greatest desire. And at the beginning of the book, that desire is to get resurrected with him, with his lover Patroclus, and have a second chance at life. But as he goes through that tournament, you have this conflict of the person you want to be versus the person you were. And Achilles finds these old demons of glory and the love of the fight, the love of battle, kind of starting to rear its ugly head, and what that want might change by the end of the book.
I dig that. Okay. Tell us about your favorite element about this story or franchise.
My favorite element about this story and franchise is that every character is a main character. And I know that's a little bit confusing, having just talked about how Achilles is the protagonist, but this whole thing is a tournament where you have mythic heroes fighting one another. Every single one of these characters was a hero in their own story. And so the thing that I've really enjoyed about writing this book is going in and doing the research, and, you know, even characters that I was already, I would say, fairly familiar with, learning about them to a degree where I could write, if I wanted to, write a whole arc focused on them and really get to flesh them out. And that's something that we do plan on playing with a bit in the future. Is as the series progresses, we plan on doing one-off side stories focused on side characters, because each one of them is a protagonist. There's so much to be invested in with each of these characters. I mean, in the main team of champions alone, you have Heracles, Theseus, and Achilles. You've got three big hitters in Greek mythology. You know, Heracles probably being the most known, because he's had a Disney movie and a Kevin Sorbo TV show and a whole list of other things. And then Theseus is the guy that killed the Minotaur. So you've got these really big, heavy hitters from all across the world's mythology, and they're all coming in to fight in this tournament so that their respective mythological lord of the underworld can have a shot at gaining the title.
All right. And what do you believe separates your crowdfunding from the thousands of other campaigns out there?
That's a tough question. What I believe separates my campaign from a lot of the ones out there, man, I feel like this is a good one to get people angry at you. But I honestly don't know. This is my first campaign, and while I've researched a lot of other campaigns, I've taken notes on things that worked for them and things that didn't. So in a way, it's a reflection of all the campaigns I've researched. And in another way, it's very different. I mean, I think that probably one thing that distinguishes how I've ran my campaign, and not necessarily a pro or a con, is I don't have as many perk tiers as some other campaigns do. And a lot of that just has to goes with the fact that I've paid for this book out of pocket. And so what I was able to accomplish for getting those perk tiers was very limited. But the big thing is that every single book that is being published from this campaign is a collector piece. And so I guess that would be a big distinguishing point. That's definitely a pro, is that every single person that gets a physical tier of this book is getting 24 pages of story and art gallery and a foil cover and gloss pages. So I'd say that's a pretty big thing.
All right. And at this point, usually Chuck would be here. Oh, wait, one more question. So maybe Chuck will get here in time for this one. Because he gets to usually ask two different questions. What is the inspiration behind this project?
The inspiration behind this project is my love of mythology that has stemmed from my dad reading me books like the Iliad when I was growing up. And, as I grew up, that love of mythology only grew. And the people that I hanged out with had a very similar love of mythology. And we talk about, what characters from myth we'd like to see fight each other. Who do you think we would win? Which ones we thought would win? And this, that, and the other. And eventually, that was something that I knew I wanted to play with. And, eventually it just got to a point where I started to really work at a concept and started talking to a few people that I knew and just started bouncing things off of them. I remember there was a night at work, I was talking to a few buddies of mine, and they literally put me on rapid fire under of questions about my concept, and it allowed me really to flush out some deeper concepts that would run through the series, and it was really helpful. But yeah, as I said, the main inspiration is just this ever-present love of mythology in my life.
All right. And just so you don't feel so alone, I'll come back on for a little bit. Usually Chuck would be here. It is 4 o'clock. I think we'll do something a little different right now. Just Jax. I don't know why he's been quiet all day, and now he's deciding to be just to go along with the Murphy's Law. So give me 1 second.
No, you are all good, man. I've got a 2-year-old, so trust me, been there.
Every so often he gets this way at cons. He'll ignore me forever, and then the minute I start talking to someone, the minute someone actually walks by the table, because it's usually on the slower days, he'll suddenly want my attention. This is just a little bit of a jealousy thing, but it matches the day. Happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody. I hope everyone's having a good weekend. I know weather's kind of off this weekend, and I know it's just an off year, but I did want to say to everyone, happy Memorial. Well, I don't know if you're supposed to say Happy Memorial. That's the one that's weird. Are you supposed to say Happy Memorial Day?
I think Happy Memorial Day is fine. I don't, like the whole thing about it is that we're obviously like celebrating the sacrifice of those that served and what have you.
Yeah, and it celebrates the beginning of summer.
Yeah. So like a Happy Memorial Day is fine. Like I don't see a problem with it. I don't think that it's going to be one of those things where people look at you like, how dare you throw in that Greta meme that Varian was using over on the indie vault.
Yeah. You just gotta love people. The wonderful world that we live in these days. All right, so we'll go ahead and we're gonna watch for 6 days. We have to raise $1,507 to get him to his flexible goal. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna play that wonderful bean footage. So we're gonna bring up his Indiegogo project, and we're gonna watch that video, and then we'll see if Chuck shows up, and if not, we'll just go ahead and I'll make up two other questions. So I don't know where Chuck is. He said he was running late, but I don't know how late he's going to be late. I don't know why we have the girl talk thing up there the whole time. Just goes to show you that I wasn't looking to the corner. There we go. 7 Reasons. Not girl talk, 7 Reasons. Just matches the show today. All right, so here we go.
We're winging it.
We're winging it. I mean, this is just like, if I were going to change the date of this show, this would be the last one. I'd sign off with like, fuck it. We did what we could.
We're not. We're just... This is it.
I give up. I'll see you never. All right, so here we go. Let's make this as big as we can. Oh, ooh, that might be a little bit too big. This is not giving me choice. So we'll go to YouTube. So there we go. I feel comfortable with this. Let's do it.
Hey there, welcome to the Elysian Fields crowdfunding campaign. Thanks for giving us a check out. Elysian Fields started off as just a game between friends. Nerdy kids debating which mythic heroes would win pitted against each other. Over the years, as things grew, this became a concept I fixated on, knowing the potential that it could have as a story. Now it's a living, breathing thing, and for it to succeed, I need you. So come check out our Indiegogo campaign and see what you can do to bring Elysian Fields Issue 0 to print and beyond. Thank you.
I think that we paid off. I think actually Stolen for Chuck got just enough time to get Chuck in here to ask his questions.
We got him.
Chuck, the wheels have fallen off horribly today.
Welcome back to New Rock Stars. I'm Eric.
Welcome, Eric Voss. Good to see you, buddy.
Oh, man, the wheels have fallen off today, Chuck. We had 3 people who had to back out for various reasons and one person who just could not make it because of a dryer. It is that type of day. Off air in a few minutes, we'll talk about moving this show off of Saturdays. I think that the fact that everything's opened up has changed the world, and Saturdays are going back to not being a day to do a show. I know Brian K. Morris signed off on Saturdays today. I think I'm going to do that too. I like the roundtable on Sundays. The roundtable on Sundays has always done it, but typically when this wasn't a pandemic, I never went live on Saturdays unless it was like breaking news.
You weren't able to.
Yeah, I was.
You were gone like 30 Saturdays of the year, so that wasn't even possible for you to do.
Well, I could go live from the shows, and that's what I was saying at the beginning of this. I do have a new handy dandy sheet that's going to be making its ways, and yes, Chuck, you're going to have to proofread it because I did change it. By the way, now I've officially gone in and reworded a lot of stuff, so I was like, yeah, Chuck needs to proofread, and I just told him, no, I'm not changing anything. I sat here the whole day changing it. I woke up this morning, I'm like, I don't have anything to do to 4 o'clock. I'm not a teacher. Oh my God, what should I do with my Saturday? And Jax was watching cartoons because we're starting off Saturday morning with cartoons like it's God meant it to be, so I played with that. I don't know how not to do things for comics, people. Leave me alone.
I feel you. I'm not even kidding you. I was sitting here, I was calmly editing a book, and then a guy gets in touch. He goes, we're still on in 10 minutes, right? Oh, yeah, we are. Okay, let's do it. So then we did it. And then about 45 minutes into that, he and I are having a good time talking. And then it's like, here's the StreamYard link for what? Oh, shit, that's right. So I'm telling him, I'm like, okay, we're gonna roll this one down. Yeah, okay, yeah. And then I literally said, okay, thank you so much. And usually you like to have that long after chat. I was like, okay, nope, gotta go. Bye. And I literally didn't even grab a drink, straight into this because I wanted to talk about Elysian Fields so fucking bad.
You made my day. Thank you.
How you doing, homie?
Dude, we're doing all right. I was gonna be listening to your audio series here, and then life kind of blew up on me yesterday. So
if I said I didn't understand that, I'd be a damn liar. So you're good, homie. You're good.
Don't listen to that unless you want to be depressed. Chuck just likes to fuck with your soul. It's a very depressing thing.
Have you listened to it? Some of it.
I like dark stuff. I have a good time with it. You've heard a little bit about how I talked about what Achilles is thing in this. I like dealing with a little bit of darkness here. So I'm down for a dark series, especially with time travel. I think that's like a really cool thing that you could do. Is like there are so many like my favorite part of Back to the Future in the Back to the Future franchise is when like the bad guy gets the book and goes back in time and makes everything awful, and it's like, oh God.
Yeah, and we get to play with time travel in a way that we feel like we haven't really seen too much. Mm-hmm. And we had a really good time with it. So it was really enjoyable there. But it's funny, like I just sat in a meeting last night. I had a 2-hour meeting with my dude, Sean Barber, talking about Belial 2. We're laughing our asses off. And then I have a 2-hour meeting with Eric Cockrell. And we're like, oh yeah, that'll break hearts. So like they're very different projects.
Hey man, just shows your range. It's all good.
Well, you know what it is? Why I didn't listen to it yet? I wanted you to get the last episode. I'm a big binger. I'll be honest. I'm a binging bitch. I like to have it all at once. I hate network television. I cut the cord for years, and I didn't care. Honestly, the only reason I have cable, and this is how much of a fan of wrestling I am, it's the wrestling, to be honest with you. The wrestling and some of the shows. There's just certain shows, and you guys will understand this. Creators are, and I say it all the time, a bunch of bitchy little yentas. So if it's a superhero thing and something happens, you're going to know about it in 20 minutes. None of them can keep their fucking mouth shut. I have to their mouth shut. I have to stay off social media when the movies come out if I can't see it the opening night. I've actually started asking my sister on bigger films to ask for the night off from work so she can watch Jax and I can go see the movie because I can't take my boy to it. I heard of a drive-in theaters coming back. I was like, yes, please. I was like, because I could take my kid and not give a fuck. He'll just drive me crazy in a car. But back to the show. What show we have today? I'm not even promoting Cat Dad. We're just giving it to Michael because Michael wins by being the only one who showed up that didn't have to show up. So
there can only be one.
Yeah, I do have a great idea though for the show.
It's a wonderful word.
Yeah. So ask your questions. You got 2 of them. You're up. We going through the other 5.
You were already through the other 5?
Well, there's only one person. It didn't take very long.
I finished question 5 at like the 17-minute mark.
We talked about Memorial Day, and then we watched the video, and then we talked a little bit when you came in. So just one of those days, Chuck. Happy Memorial Day. We figured out you can say that.
I don't. Well, and here's the thing. Where I come from, we don't have Memorial Day.
You have VE Day.
Yeah, but we don't even. We have Victoria Day, which we call May 2-4.
Yeah.
And it's just a really good reason to drink.
That's what Memorial Day is here. Good job.
Yeah, I know, but we don't have vets who are like, hey, man, you got to take this seriously, which I understand why they would say that because it is Memorial Day. But for us, like Victoria Day is Queen Victoria's birthday. Bitch has been dead for hundreds of years. We don't need to worry about that. Her family is rich, so that we don't give a shit what they think. So it's on May 24th. It's around there. So we call a 24-pack a 2-4. So we just call it May 2-4, and everybody gets wasted.
Fantastic.
It's great. Yeah. Canadians know how to party.
Great fucking plan.
It really is. It really is.
We know why Blame Canada is a thing. That's officially it. They're celebrating the dead chick.
You know, we made the joke, the movie Independence Day, they don't show Canada because when the aliens landed, we were just like, hey, dude, you want a drink? And they're like, fucking right. Nobody even offered. And so we were partying with them while you guys were trying to figure out some stupid plan to destroy them. And when you did, we were kind of pissed off because now we had one less drinking buddy.
You know, you didn't watch the second film, did you?
No, fuck no.
They told in the second film that what they did with Canada was anal experimentation throughout the whole country.
Did they actually say that?
No, but it would have been great.
Man.
They didn't mention Canada because no one cares about Canada. Like right now, the coronavirus, tell me, honestly, does anyone know what's happening with the coronavirus in Canada? I'll wait here.
Google it just to spite you, Rob.
I'll wait here.
I absolutely do, but again, kind of biased.
What's going on? You know what's going on? The virus got bored and left for anywhere else.
No, the virus couldn't survive around that much alcohol.
That could be fair. That's
what it was.
I haven't heard about it hurting Ireland at all, so that might track. That might actually, like
it couldn't survive the alcohol.
Ireland took it seriously. They shut down their pubs.
So did Canada. Canada did the same thing.
They just shut the pubs with everyone still inside. Okay, come home, Karen. I got a drink.
All right. I'm trying to think about some Elysian Fields questions. All right. Okay. If anybody else could have written this besides you, who would you want to write this?
Oh,
that's a good one.
We're gonna because what's the point? We're already talking about the Kickstarter. Screw the Kickstarter right now. Let's just ask you some cool questions because you've been on here a couple times.
Yeah,
dude, that's a really like.
It's tough because it's your baby, but who would you love?
The thing is that like you definitely like that is a really freaking tough question.
It lets me think of my next one.
You son of a bee, that's really good.
I'll answer, give you time for Cat Dad and Supermom just to give you some stall time. Because Chuck actually asked me that the other day. So we have an idea to do this cool thing with the next series. We want little kids to actually wind up making their own little 4-page stories that we want to put in future issues. To kickstart this, me and Chuck are kicking around the idea of possibly letting another artist or I meant an artist just draw a quick 4-page that wasn't Raheel to kind of kickstart the idea and call it not fan art, but I think we called it Cat Dad Appreciation, I think was the name we were throwing around, something like that. Either way, you get the idea. We're trying to open up the ballpark to something new. So then Chuck's like, well, who are you going to get to write it? And I'm like, write it. I'm the writer. Why would I let anyone else write Cat? Like at first you get that protective shit, but then you take a breath and you're like, wait a minute. That would be kind of cool to see who would, like, if I offered it to another writer. And I was like, what about Chuck? Chuck's never gotten to write an actual Cat Dad story. He's the editor. I was like,
I'd be all about that.
Yeah, I would like maybe let Chuck have a shot at it. Why not let him? He's been part of the project. Even Raheel wrote for those who don't know, in the first issue, he wrote the actual narrator's part. So Chuck's the only one to not have a writing credit in the series yet. So I was like, why don't we just get Chuck and let Chuck write it? But then that also opened up my idea. Like, it would be cool to have your characters kind of played with. I mean, of course, you'd be like a parent over like the shoulder and be like, no, that does not happen. But beyond that, it could be really cool.
Well, I think actually, to take from some of your other projects, it would be an awful lot like a game of red light, green light, where it's like, this is what you can do and this is what you can't do.
There would definitely be boundaries put in place.
There would be boundaries.
There would be hard limits, and there would definitely be a safe word if we had to bail suddenly.
I believe the safe word is fired. I believe that's what it is.
I was going to go with, get the fuck out of here.
That might be said anyway.
I did think of who I would have. And
right,
so the answer would either be Scott Snyder or Robert Kirkman.
Okay.
If I were to have any like any comic book writers write Elysian Fields, those would be the two that I would think of. Scott Snyder has done my big thing with him is, I've read Witches and I've read his New 52 run on Batman with Greg Capullo, and the guy can make things just absolutely batshit insane and interconnected and weave into things, and B can also do a really deep and meaningful story. And so yeah, I'd probably pick either him, and then Robert Kirkman. What he did with Invincible was just awesome, and I would love to see how he would handle these characters. But it really is a tough question, because you're kind of like, man, who else writes books like what I have? Yeah. And it's just one of those things where you're kind of trying to be like, who wrote something similar, or wrote a character similar enough to how I'm writing one of mine, or what have you. Who do I think would be able to handle such a really diverse cast of characters with different personalities and what have you? Because that's another big thing, is there are some writers that are really good at handling like 2-3 people cast, but they can't write more than that. And there are other writers that can handle a whole fuck ton of characters, but then when you get into like a single character narrative, they kind of are like, oh, I don't know what to do. I need more things to play with.
Yeah, right.
And so it is one of those really hard questions where you're like, man, who would I pick?
Yeah. Oh, good. No, those are good questions too. So here's something. Last night, my boy Sean and I were talking about Belial, and we were talking about variant covers, and we wanted to do a next level variant cover. Like, who is that artist that we think we can go to and we can honestly get that can kind of take that to the next level and really kind of show it off to another level of audience and have people go, ooh, okay, let's take this a little more seriously. So
this
I would
is actually a question I've already asked myself, and I've reached out to 2 people.
Okay.
That
You
are.
don't have to mention them, but if there's,
I'm not going to mention it just yet because I like the big thing is that I don't feel comfortable doing that until we have pen and ink signed, and it's a done deal or what have you. But another person that if I could get a hold of, I mean,
Put it away.
if I had the connect, I feel like he would be very easy to get in touch with and what have you. But the big problem would be money. But if I could get a hold of and this speaking as going towards indie people, but getting a hold of someone like Kyle Ritter, I think Kyle Ritter would do a badass. I backed his Starblades book, and every single it's not out yet, but every single time he's posted up art updates from that book, they're just absolutely gorgeous. And the guy does a fantastic job, obviously, drawing his characters, but his big thing is he's a colorist, and I feel like he could really, especially on cover art, he could really make that shit pop.
yeah.
But I will say that there are 2 fairly big name artists that I have reached out to for the next thing of Elysian Fields for variant covers, and depending on how much we end up getting on the campaign will depend on if we close the deal.
Good for you. I hope that works out. I really do. And you know what? I do have another question, and it's kind of playing off what you just said. Actually, first, Rob, did you want to answer any of those questions?
No, I mean, I think that I've done it over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Let's focus on him and just wrap this up today.
I'm okay with that. So, I am not a fan of Kiss. I hate when people when they feel like they have to have their names on everything. But you know what? Sometimes merchandising is just part of it. So if you had the fuck you money and you could basically do whatever you wanted to do, what are some of the crazy things that you would put the Elysian Fields name on?
Oh man. Honestly, if I had the fuck you money, I don't even know if I would put my brand on anything. The big thing I would want to do is I'd want a collector line of statues. That would be
not where I thought you'd go. Okay.
That would be my I love statues. I have my own little miniature. I have my own little collection. And I grew up a Spawn fan. I had my brothers bought me Spawn toys all the damn time, and so Todd McFarlane was a big thing in my life, and I fucking love statues and toys. And so if I had the fuck you money, if I was making $100K per campaign or what have you, and I could literally just say and throw money at somebody, I would do a premium statue line of the characters of Elysian Fields, and they'd have they would be standing on a platform with an etched in thing of our logo. And that would be what I would do.
It's funny because what I saw, you can see I have all the dragon statues. What you can't see is I'm also an avid collector of weapons. I love swords and stuff. And so I was really hoping I was going to hear about Elysian Fields swords and stuff. And I was like, I'd buy the fuck out of that.
No, and that would be cool, and that would be something I might do. But the big thing is that a few of the weapons are just things that I don't know how I'd go about making.
Yeah.
Because Theseus's Aegeus sword in this is is kind of modeled after a Roman gladius, but then on the back pommel of it is golden twine, is the golden thread he used to go through the labyrinth.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And so like it's you'll see when Theseus fights, he'll be using that sword as a melee weapon, but then he'll pull like a scorpion and throw it at somebody and drag them closer to him.
Oh, I like that a lot. Oh, that's badass, dude.
And so that thread is hooked up to his gauntlets, to his wrist guards, and those are also cestises. So it's just like, how would I go? Like, where does it begin? Where does it end? Kind of deal,
right?
And we're going to be having stuff like that throughout it. Like, there are going to be things that are like more prominent, like Achilles obviously uses a spear and a sword. But then, like, you know, Heracles uses a giant club and a bow. Like, those are like, that's not something that, like, as cool as it would be, as those things are to see him use, because he's just this giant dude.
Is your Achilles smart enough to wear metal boots now so he knows that he can survive?
So this is actually a fun concept, and this is actually a really fun thing to talk about. Is I do go from the mythic standpoint that Achilles, when he was alive, was the version in the myth where he was dipped in the river Styx, all but his foot. He died. He no longer has that invulnerability.
Oh, okay.
So that's something that is going to play a big role in the first storyline, because he's going to get wounded for the first time. And yeah, you know, he took the arrow and died, and he has the memory of that, but to like push on and keep fighting through pain while you're in the middle of a battle is something that he's never had to deal with.
Yeah. I like that. I like that you're going there. That's really cool, dude. That's a really cool concept.
So like that's something that we'll be playing with in there. You know, a lot, like, there are certain things that people will like take from when they were alive that are applied, but like things like invulnerability, like, you already died. So like Siegfried is going to eventually come into play, because when we have the Norse come up, we're going to have Siegfried and Beowulf. And in Siegfried's story, when he defeated Fafnir, he was supposed to be invincible. Well, that's very clearly not the case anymore. He's dead. This is the shade of Siegfried. So like, you're not good. Things like invulnerability and what have you that these characters may have had as traits in life are no longer there.
That's cool. I like that. And I'm really glad you got into that, because that's a really cool take, dude. I like that a lot. And I'm glad for that, because boy, am I tired of invulnerable characters.
Well, and that's the thing, is you, like, I've talked about it on other shows. You cannot have a hero without a struggle. There has to be, like, if there is nothing for that, if there is no struggle for the hero to overcome, how are they heroic? Because the reason why they are heroes to us and what have you is because they go up against these odds and overcome them. And it's kind of a way of, you know, we all have our each individual hurdles that we go through in our own lives that we have to go over. And while they may not be as necessarily significant as defeating an army of 1,000 whatevers that a superhero will do, it's still good to see somebody overcome those odds, because at the end of the day, there are times in life where we all feel super overwhelmed. And looking at even just this thing that by comparison seems tiny feels like going over a massive wall. And to see another person with similarly, like, with those odds stacked against them overcome it, it's something that inspires. You know, and that's the whole point of heroes. You know, like Alexander the Great traveled with a copy of the Iliad under his pillow everywhere he went. Yeah. You know, the stories of heroes are what have inspired people to move mountains and do all sorts of crazy things throughout history. And that's no different today. People look at heroes and superheroes and comics in particular, and it gives them the strength to push on sometimes. Like, Yeah, it's a source of entertainment, but at the end of the day, these characters embody the core traits that we as society value. And that's the whole point.
Wow. That's solid. That's really good, man. Those were my big questions.
Hey man, it was good to answer them. If you ever have any more questions about Elysian Fields, because I know that you've wanted to talk to me about it for a minute, just hit me up.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think it's a really cool idea. You know, in all honesty, and I'm not even like talking crap right now. I don't think I've ever done an IGG. Like I don't think I've ever. And it's not that I'm against Indiegogo. It's that Kickstarter has all my information. I just say pledge, please, thank you. Like that's it. It's not that it's like, oh, I don't like Indiegogo. It's no, it's hard, and I'm a little bitch, you know. And I'll fucking own that. But I will tell you, and this is the honest truth. If you were on Kickstarter, I would have already been like, oh shit, this is cool. I'm pledging this. So I do intend to pick it up.
It's not a big deal. I appreciate it.
I just have to keep getting out. You know, I have to remember to talk to my wife and say, baby, where's the credit card? I need to make an Indiegogo account.
And I really appreciate that. And I know that there have been a few people that have had issues with it, with Indiegogo as a platform. I know, Rob and I talked where like Indiegogo didn't like his card information for whatever reason. He had to order a whole different charge card so that he could do Indiegogo stuff. And if it becomes that complicated, just hit me up. We could probably work something out. Like as much as great as it would be to have it like on the record there so that it gets me closer, at the end of the day, you're still purchasing a copy of the book.
Sale. Yeah, totally.
No, you have to do it this way.
Yeah, and again, for people out there, it is not about Indiegogo. It is me. I am admitting that. So before you start sending in your hate mail and you go, Chuck hates Indiegogo, but no, Chuck doesn't hate Indiegogo. Chuck's a little bitch, and Chuck just, is lazy and has not signed up for anything there. Calm your horses.
Completely understand. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
You're
doing good there, right?
Right.
Yeah, we're doing really well.
Yeah.
We're about 80% funded.
And how much longer do you have?
6 days.
Okay, so guys out there, I'm going to make my Indiegogo account. When you see that I've done it, you're going to see that anyone can do it. And you got to make this happen, because if I can get on there and do it, you sure as shit can. Because there's no way that this shouldn't fund. He's got a really cool idea here. I think that this does need to happen. I would love to see this happen. So I think we all of us who haven't jumped on, we need to get off our proverbial asses and make it happen.
Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah, I got you, homie.
All right. Tell them where you all came from and how they can follow you.
Hey, guys. Michael Oden here. You guys can follow me on Twitter. My handle is @ElysianFields_0. The Indiegogo campaign is up and running. We have $5,493 raised. The flex goal is $7K, 80% funded. Help us get there. We got a few more days left going, and we're really excited to get this book out to you. Thank you all for the support, and thanks, Rob, for having me on the show.
Welcome, dude. And Chuck.
Hey, I'm awake. What's going on? I am Chuck Pineau. You can find me on Facebook at that name. You can find me on Twitter at ChuckyPin. You can find my kick-ass indie comic reviews at Chuck's Raw Reviews on the YouTubes. You can find my wonderful audio drama Essence House on essencehousestory.com. And, of course, if you're ever interested in any of the stuff that I've written, I would love it if you guys came by and checked out Bonfire Press on Facebook. And, of course, you can still find Cat Dad and Supermom, which I was so happy to be a part of. Roboito?
All right, that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the last time we're going to be on Saturday for a very long time. That's it. Go enjoy. I'm off. I won't see anyone again till Tuesday. I'm taking 2 days off. You'll see me on the You're Not Alone every night. I'm committed to that until we open up our borders, as I promised. But this is it. The streak. Well, technically, the streak ended yesterday, as I didn't have to be part of that program yesterday. But still, this show isn't going away. It'll be back in June. I just have different ideas on how to do it. And
you know what? You know it's bad when Rob says, "See you next Tuesday."
All right, guys. That's it. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Thank you for tuning in. And we almost left it without. Oh, I've got a new catchphrase. I'll give it to you guys before I go. Be safe, be sane, stay tuned. And we're gonna show you a cool little video that I don't have ready because apparently it's not loaded in the right place. Why would it be? That's just today for you. So here we go. There it is.
Remember to be kind.